Let's take a look at the Loco Cookers 16-inch SMARTTEMP tabletop griddle. Now, it's been a long time since we've sat down for a full product review, but it's something we're going to start consistently doing going forward. So, if you have any products you want to see an honest, in-depth review of, please let us know. Now, Loco Cookers did send us this product to use, and stay tuned because we're also doing a giveaway of a brand new one, along with a set of grill grates that go for it, our 4-pack of rubs, and a $100 gift card to HASSELL Cattle Company. With that being said though, they have not asked us to do this full review, and everything here is the honest truth as I see it. So, let's get into it. Now, this griddle is the smaller, more portable version of the 3 griddles that Loco Cookers has to offer. And if you're not familiar with Loco Cookers, just know that they've been around for a long time. They've been making outdoor cooking products for over 25 years. I personally knew of Loco because we used to use Loco Cookers for frying turkeys growing up on Thanksgiving. And now I see them all over Instagram with some of the biggest names using their new griddles and other products that they have to offer. The first thing I think of when it comes to these cookers is they're sort of like the Cadillac of griddles. Sure, you can get some cheaper ones out there, but as with most things, you really get what you pay for. All of their griddles have this SMARTTEMP technology on them, and this comes with a digital temperature display and a thermostat temperature control that lets you fine-tune your temperature with 25-degree increments. Now, this is useful for a ton of different applications. Like for instance, when I'm making breakfast, I like to cook bacon pretty slowly, but I like to cook my sausage hot and fast. So having that precise temperature control is a huge value to offer in this griddle. Let's talk about the assembly of this product. When I'm buying something like this, I don't want to spend an entire Saturday putting it together. I was pleasantly surprised with how quickly this thing came together. I was actually able to assemble it within about 10 minutes or so. One thing I do like about this is that it runs off of the little 1-pound propane cylinders, but you can also get an adapter to get a bigger propane tank. For me, I'll probably stick with the small 1-pound bottles because I'm going to be using this in a lot of different places. But if you're going to keep this in the same spot, it's really nice to be able to have that bigger tank and not have to change it out as frequently. This griddle also has what they call Sure Spark Ignition. I've only used it a few times, but so far I haven't had any issues with this thing lighting up on the first try. It also does come with a built-in match holder, which is really cool in case you do have to light up with a match, and you can do that safely that way. After we assembled it, I took it home to test it out. I was going to set up a camping scene, but it's rained every day for like 2 weeks now, so today we're going to be on the front porch. And before we get to cooking on this thing, I know what you're probably thinking. I've seen dozens of your cooking videos over the years, but I've never seen you in that shirt. Is it new? Well, I'm glad you asked, because for the first time, we finally have merch to sell. We have 2 shirts and 3 hats. You've been asking for this for about 2 years now, and I've been saying we're going to have it soon for 2 years. So I'm sorry it took so long, but we finally have it, and it's available on crovefood.com right there with our award-winning rubs. But now, let's get to cooking. With any griddle like this, the first thing you need to do is go ahead and season the surface. And it's pretty simple to do. All you need is some high smoke point oil like vegetable oil or canola oil, some paper towels, and a little bit of patience. We want to get the surface very hot for about 15 minutes. After it's nice and hot, we're going to wipe the surface and the walls of the cooker so that it's evenly coated. Wait for a few minutes with the heat turned up, and then it's going to look dry again. We're just going to repeat this step 2 or 3 more times until we have a nice black coating across the entire griddle. It's good practice to do this after each cook as well, and that's what gives you that great non-stick surface you want to cook on. And I've always heard that bacon grease is a great way to help get that surface in a great condition, so I always like to cook bacon as my first cook on something like this. So, with that in mind, let's make some breakfast tacos. After we season it, I let it cool all the way down because I like to start my bacon at room temperature. This allows the fat to slowly render, and the meat of the bacon isn't overcooked by the time the fat is properly rendered down. With any griddle, I want a fairly even cooking surface. I was very surprised by this griddle because the burner isn't sitting in a straight line like most griddles have their burners. That usually leaves you with an uneven cooking surface. But this griddle has a really unique burner pattern that promotes an even cooking surface, and that's what I really like to see. And this bacon cooked beautifully. I also wanted to cook an egg on this to test that out and make sure that the surface was nice and non-stick. Another great feature of this griddle that I wasn't expecting was the lid. I know that seems like a minor thing, but it serves 2 purposes for me. Number 1, it's going to help me keep it clean. I have a tendency to keep things not quite as clean as my wife would like, so something like a lid can help me keep it cleaner over a long period of time. And number 2, this is actually going to help us in the cooking process. Keeping the lid closed is going to retain more heat when we want it, like whenever we're cooking this egg. It'll allow for a little bit of heat to circulate from the top down, thus giving more control when we're cooking. It cooked this egg beautifully, it toasted up the tortilla, and that's all we need for a breakfast taco. So far, so good. I have no complaints about it. But I will say that I'm at home alone today. If I had a family of 5, this 16-inch cooking space could really limit me to how much I could cook at one time. And this is where you weigh the pros and cons of the 16-inch cooktop versus something like their 26 or 36-inch griddles. And obviously the benefit here is the portability. So this is a situation where I'd recommend having an idea of what you're going to be cooking on it and where you're going to be cooking on it. For me, this is fine, but I can see how it could limit some people with the size. And on a side note, my wife is going to love that I have this because she always loves it when I cook bacon outside. I'm able to cook this outside now and it doesn't smell like bacon grease in our kitchen for 3 days. But now it's time for another test cook, and I want to do something a little more complex here. So we're going to make some steak and eggs. And if you know me, you know that I love grill grates. We've been using them for a long time now, and they have so many benefits aside from the beautiful cereal marks that they give you. And of course, with the giveaway, we're going to be giving away this set of grill grates as well, so be sure to stay to the end to find out more about that. We have a prime New York strip here, and we have 2 eggs. And we're going to start by seasoning the strip with Crove beef on both sides. We have this griddle turned all the way up onto sear mode so we can cook this steak hot and fast. The first thing I want to do is go ahead and sear off the fat cap on the steak. I'm doing this with the griddle side rather than the grill grate side, so we can cook these eggs in some of that beautiful beef fat. Then we're going to lay the steak on the grates and shut the lid. After 2 minutes or so, I'll turn it 90 degrees so we can get the crosshatch sear marks. Then after another 90 to 120 seconds, we're going to flip it over. At this point, I went ahead and cracked the eggs as well. And of course, we're going to season the eggs with our all-purpose beef rub as well. And then we're going to repeat the process for the steak until it's perfectly medium rare. And I was pleasantly surprised by this cook. My steak was amazing, and I'll probably make this same meal next Saturday morning as well. With 2 cooks in, I can happily say that I'm very happy with how this griddle has performed. The thing that surprised me the most though was the very even temperature of the surface. And it may have a smaller surface area, but every inch of it can be used, which is very helpful whenever you only have 16 inches to work with. And all in all, I will certainly keep this in my arsenal of cookers. I really wish I had this while we were on the tailgate tour. So many times I had to plug in a small electric burner that just didn't get the job done. And that would have been a perfect application for this griddle. But now let's talk about how we're going to get one of these in your hands. We've teamed up with Loco Cookers, Grill Grates, and HASSELL Cattle Company to give away a 16-inch griddle, a set of grates that go on the griddle, and a $100 gift card from HASSELL Cattle Company. On top of that, we're going to throw in a 4-pack of our rubs. All you have to do is click the link in the description to get signed up. Don't forget to check out our new merch as well, and please let us know what you want to see us review next.